Today's AskReddit post. Serious? Trans people of Reddit who have undergone transitional surgery. How do you experience orgasms now versus pre-surgery? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. FTM here. Much easier and more intense. I had metodioplasty. That's where they make a dick out of your clitoris basically, a few months ago, and I was stunned at the difference. Might have to do with the fact that I feel more at ease now with my body. Might also have to do with the fact that I can get blowjobs now. Edit. Thanks for the gold and for all your questions. I love how you guys want to learn more and I'm happy to help. Except for those who are leaving transphobic comments here and on my other posts. I hope you stub your toe daily. Blowjobs rule. Right? Edit. Can't believe this is my most upvoted comment, hahaha. I had no idea what to expect, but damn, I've been missing out. FTM. 11 months on T. Pre-surgery here. The way in which I orgasm has changed. It's less so general stimulation and more so like jerking off. It also doesn't necessarily have a full body pulsation anymore. Instead, having the most powerful sensation centered in my genitalia and kind of echo effects everywhere else. I rarely used to orgasm using only fingers pre-T. If I did, it would take literally ages. Now I'm done in about 3-4 minutes depending on how long it's been since my last session, how I'm feeling at the time. Now I'm done in about 3-4 minutes depending on how long it's been since my last session, how I'm feeling at the time. Welcome to the club, Brody. Yo up. I'm a trans woman. I've been on HRT for 5 years. And I'm 6 months post-op. My orgasms rule. I'm much more sensitive now. Too sensitive for my old magic wand. And I get consistent, whole body, intense orgasms. It's great. Anal still feels amazing too. I am not trying to be offensive or vulgar. But do MTF trans people get wet when they are sexually aroused, or do they have to rely on external lubricants when they have sex? It depends on the surgery. There are a few types of surgery that use tissue that's self-lubricating, like a section of intestine. Usually the surgery uses the penis shaft to form the vagina, and in those cases there's no natural lubricant. This sentence is a trip to read. Science is ducking crazy. Need a vagina? Let me just use part of your intestines and or penis to build one. Build one. I feel like we went from growing organs to building organs. And someday, we'll be printing organs. Science is a trip. Edit. Thanks for all the cool articles and shit. I know we are capable of printing organs. I meant, to a point where, instead of organ repair or learning to live with organ damage failure, replacement is the primary treatment option, in terms of resources, time, and cost. Hey, I can answer this. I'm a trans woman. 5 years HRT. 3 years post-op. Masturbating is a different, more sensual thing now. Before it was just a sort of routine. It is a bit harder to orgasm now than before, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Some people find their orgasm after being on HRT or being post-op are a more full body thing. I don't know if I really relate to that, but find they're quite a bit more pleasant and feel satisfying. I only used my dick a few times with sex and didn't really like it. Don't really like getting penetrated either, haha, but love being eaten out. Happy to answer random questions people have. To preface, I don't mean to be gross or make you or anyone else uncomfortable, so if either of those occurs, please feel free to glance over my questions. I'm only asking out of genuine curiosity. So, if you've had operations to complete your transition from male to female, if I understood correctly, what is the process like going from a penis to a vagina? Are there options for you? Seeing as it's an elective surgery, are you able to pick how you want things arranged or anything like that? And in regards to sex or masturbation, is it similar to women in function strategy? Like, are you able to become naturally lubricated? IDK, how else to ask this? I apologize if it's gross. Regardless, I'm glad you're able to find pleasure and are comfortable sharing these things. These questions are all good. Always happy to enlighten people. Yes, an elective surgery, you can shop around different surgeons and customize how you want things. Pretty much the same strategy as cis women. I can get naturally wet. Not as much as cis women, and if playing around in their lubricant is recommended. What's it made of? Where's it come from? Thanks for all the replies. I learned a lot today. I wish you all a happy and healthy sex life. FTM guy, 25 years old, who just had phalloplasty the 14th of July. I've been on T for about 4 years and the ability to orgasm in that time has become incredibly easy. Within the first few months I'd say my libido was easily 2-3x as intense. Orgasms are pretty short but intense. Since the first stage of phalloplasty, construction of my penis via donation graft of tissue, nerves and etc from my arm, a tissue graft from my leg for my arm, construction of scrotum and testicular implants, and vaginectomy, I've yet to orgasm but I'm still healing with some open wounds so I haven't really tried to go there yet. I will say that my ability to feel sensation down there and get aroused is definitely present so I don't think it would take much to achieve orgasm now. My next surgery step in about 6 mo will hook up my natural urethra to my new one so I can piss standing up, and then receive erectile device implants estate. 6 mo from then. It's been my hardest surgery recovery yet, and I had the added complication of popping a stitch that's still healing but I'd do it all again in a heartbeat because I think even my current result is a 100% improvement from what I had before. I'm amazed how far medical technology has come. Before reading this thread, I thought that trans people couldn't fully transition and had to live a miserable life of dysphoria. For me, I'm FTM, or a trans man, post-op surgery and on HRT, testosterone. Everything is definitely more horny now, so a lot more sexuality stuff happening in general. My clit, which I call my cock cause it sounds better to me, is less sensitive but more easily manipulated since it's grown so much. There's a lot less dysphoria now when masturbating due to that growth and my tits getting guillotined so now it's actually possible to enjoy sex. Oh, and also, gets a little graphic, but there's so much less ducking wet, fluid stuff happening down there with arousal, which is fantastic. BC that was always so inconvenient and low-key gross to me. Edit. To the person who sent me a rude PM with the award. No, I can't produce semen, but you're welcome to suck my 8-inch silicone cock anyway. Tits getting guillotined. LOL. No surgery but FTM after being on T for about 3 years and my clit has seriously grown and is way more sensitive I believe. Before T it would take me about maybe 20 or 30 minutes to build up to an orgasm whereas now I could get off after about 4 minutes of dry humping. I can also come while operating a strap-on on someone else which is pretty ducking nifty in my opinion. I can also come while operating a strap-on on someone else which is pretty ducking nifty in my opinion. Sounds really hot. I hope your partners enjoy that with you. Pre-surgery, but almost a year on hormones. Me and my BFF are FTM. We both have trouble with being almost constantly horny, and have to masturbate a few times a day to keep it down. LOL. Pre-T I barely even touched myself. The preparation was mental rather than physical. I had to be in a very specific mood. The orgasms were waves of pleasure across the body that knocked me right out for the rest of the day. Now, on T, I can masturbate in basically any situation, even if I wasn't horny right before that. It takes much less time and the orgasm is generalized pleasure in the sexual organs, rather than the whole body. It ends quickly but I still have enough energy to go on with my day and even go for another round. I love it that you go through the same horny phase as cis guys during puberty. That's just testosterone I guess. I wish you best luck for the rest of your transition my dude. I'm learning so much from these comments. Even though I'm a medical student, medical people who know about trans people are the absolute best. It makes our lives so much easier. A lot of doctors seem to think that trans women are just crossdressers, and vice versa for trans men. But if you change your hormones it messes with your entire body. I was lucky enough to have good teachers who taught us about the difficulties trans people face physically and emotionally. Pre-gender confirmation surgery, GCS. But 2 years on HRT. For GCS I'll be having a minimal depth vaginoplasty as I don't plan on having penetrative sex. I identify as a lesbian. After about 3 months on HRT, my whole body became softer and more sensitive, and my nipples in particular became erogenous zones. I can almost orgasm from nipple stimulation alone. Current equipment requires a little different stimulation from before. There has to be lots of lube, and now vibrators feel amazing. Orgasms are undoubtedly better, but much more dependent on my arousal, mood, and thoughts. Sometimes they're meh, sometimes they just won't stop and leave you incapacitated for minutes. Non-binary trans masculine here. I've had an hysterectomy and have had testosterone shots for 3 years now. In my case, I had a lot of libido to start with, but the testosterone shots heightened it to an 11, which was really hard on me. And the hysterectomy reduced it. Since the hysterectomy, my orgasms have become stronger, but they take less time coming. And for a few weeks after the operation, the orgasms weren't strong at all, which made me sad cause I thought that was gonna stay like this. But it didn't in my case, so that's cool. I dated a trans female for a bit. She was lovely. I had hooked up with her pre-op and was the first to date her post-op. She was still using her stretcher at the time. Maybe 6 months post-op. I'm an average guy, but there was a lot of "oh god that's deep" from her. We both enjoyed it a lot. She came quickly and often. Full body jolts kind of thing. And stopping for her sensitivity. Would recommend. Contrary to the common narrative, hormones, testosterone, didn't change my orgasms. I came the way people describe male orgasms before and after, both sensation wise and getting there in 5 minutes. If I want to, I can provoke a longer, more spread out orgasm by edging or stimulating in ways other than just the classic jerking off motion, so I think this is part of what people report. The changes in anatomy probably change the way they touch themselves, get touched. I think anyone, cis or trans, can experience both types of orgasm. For instance, through prostate stimulation for men. Funny, I'm also on T and my orgasms stayed the same, but the opposite way. They've always been the full body thing that's more female typical, which I personally enjoy. Haha. I'm trans. And this thread is interesting and helpful. Same. It's nice to see a trans thread on a non-trans subreddit that isn't flooded with thinly veiled hatred for once. MTF here. No surgery for me at this point, but my orgasms changed with just hormones. It went from, "hey I'm coming, that feels good," to, "OMG OMG OMG my body is exploding." Double quote. I learned a lot from this thread. Thanks for the question, OP. FTM here. I've had top surgery, and I didn't really expect it to affect my sex life at all, but it kind of did. I wasn't really prepared for it, but I honestly miss the stimulation I used to get. Overall, I'm happier now, but it's worth mentioning for those who feel similarly. I mean, it's way more mental now, and I have to be in the right frame of mind to easily orgasm. I have some sensitive tissue just under my clit that helps with orgasming. Otherwise, being dicked is nice, if not a little tight and painful. It's crazy how the human body can adapt so well, and purely for the sake of pleasure, too. Edit. It's been brought to my attention by the good people of Reddit that this is pretty much incorrect. Please, for the good of us all, listen to them. I'm not too bright. Our species' survival relies on sex to be pleasurable as an incentive. Imagine if our bodies decided to go the other way for reproduction incentive. Just constant pain every time you're not having sex. So just everyday life. And I had a nerve hookup done. The nerves in my original erectile tissue were hooked up to the nerve sheaths in my new dick. And over the last 18 months the nerves have slowly grown in. That is amazing. I had no idea that could happen. Neither did surgeons. Transitional surgery is very new and modern. This nerve hookup has been done for at least 10 years BTW. 10 years is fairly modern, I'd say. HDMI, the cutting-edge universal standard for high-definition VA input, which is currently used in most electronics that hook up to a screen, is 17 years old. Holy shit, that's amazing. I had no idea transition surgery had become this advanced. How do erections work? There are implants where you literally press a button around the crotch area and it pumps up your dick like these self-inflating air mattresses. According to a trans co-worker who's saving up for that. Tech is wild in these days. Removed. That's really interesting. How does it feel getting used to a new body part? Does it immediately feel it's part of your body? I am going to ask something super out there and I totally understand if you don't want to answer. When you finish, does anything come out? Any type of fluid? I know sperm doesn't come out. You asked the wrong person there, mate. Thank you for this insight in the FTM progress. That's awesome. For a while I was under the impression that phalloplasty was mostly aesthetic, getting to pee standing up, and that it had little to no sensation. Glad to hear that is very much not the case. Good to know for the future. I'm more and more amazed with everything I read about these sorts of surgeries. Like, holy crap, modern medicine is insanely impressive sometimes. Couldn't wait to have a tug even with stitches. Could you be any more of a bloke? Haha, and imagine going through life feeling as if that part was missing but with a desire to give it a tug. Mind duck for OP, I'm sure. Probably feels so much more himself now. Important question here. Did you get to select your dick size? And why did you choose 9 inches? And in America, do you have to pay by the inch? Wow, this is insane. Medicine is so cool. Congrats on getting your dick. I have a dumb question. Did they ask you how long did you want your dick? For the rest of his life? I assume. Badumties. Do you turn off after an orgasm? What are erectile implants? I know for men with really bad ED or damage there's an option for a surgery where they replace some of the tissue in your penis with a sort of water balloon that you can inflate when you wanna bang. Probably something similar here, like those pump shoes. Sounds pretty much like it is for a lot of us born with vaginas to me. So interesting. This thread is amazing as duck. Is the mental build-up just referring to foreplay? Straight male here trying to educate myself. Also, I know you're not OP, but like, what is the science behind bringing a trans woman to orgasm? Is there an equivalent of a clitoris? No, not just foreplay. The brain is by far the strongest sexual organ in a woman. Think fantasy, erotic literature, words, role-playing, etc. Women can get turned on by visual porn just like men, but erotic literature tends to turn on in a much deeper and thorough way. Reaching orgasm through foreplay can take forever, but read a truly hot story first and it could take seconds. I'm thinking this might also be the reason why fanfiction, especially erotic, is more popular with women than men. It simply gets us going nicely. I once read that women's arousal is less than 10% visual. They showed 100 women dick pics and the women were made or even turned off by those. But our hearing and eye contact were very important. They had a guy with a sexy voice read a list of machine parts, once out of sight and again while looking us in the eye, and both times women were ready to jump him. Because not many people would be able to answer this question, may I ask whether you'd say that one type of orgasm is better, objectively speaking, or just that they're different? I suppose more intense seems like it would imply better, but not necessarily. Thank you. Also, yes, the frustration with the amount of time it takes is very real. Personally, I do find them better. They are stronger, more intense, last longer and affect more of my body. Please excuse my ignorance as a trans woman. Is that FTM or MTF? Thank you for helping us understand better. I hope everything is going well for you. Good rule to remember is trans is an adjective that describes the current person, same as a tall man or a kind man. A trans man would be post-transition, or current gender identity of the person being referenced. A trans person would always refer to themselves as their chosen gender, as that is their true gender. Hope this helps. Edit. Tie for the Ally Award. It's my absolute pleasure to educate and advocate. Love to all just trying to live their true authentic lives. Be safe. Be happy. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so basically I'm the most ignorant person about this subject, so just know that I have no idea. I also think that you are male to female. So if I get it wrong, just tell me. What does the operation do? Like, does it remove anything? Does it make new things? I'm very confused and curious. Sorry if I resulted offensive in any way. Testicles are removed. Most of the meat of the penis isn't used. Glands of the penis. The sensitive bit under the head is used as a clitoris. The skin from the penis is used to make a vaginal cavity. If there isn't enough material for that, then the surgeon can use bits of the scrotum to extend the depth or use a skin graft from elsewhere on your body. The urethra is dropped lower so it anatomically matches that of a cis female positioning. OMG, thank you so much. I always wanted the answer to this, but I was embarrassed to Google it. Thank you. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.